Go, you do this one.
Time to do this one right now. Gonna talk to the people at the trade show. Hey guys, welcome back to the green screen. We are in Portland at the NBM trade show, talking to customers, having a good time, and you know, sitting in these chairs.
So today we're talking about once your business is running and you're starting to make money, what do you do with that, and how do you continue to build and plan for the future? So one of the things that is very important for any business is access to resources. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Money is super important. Managing money is super important. You're not always going to have all the money you need, and figuring out where to get money from is always going to be something you're thinking about.
Money is an interesting resource, and it's once you learn how to achieve it, once you learn how to get it, there's a lot of different ways a business can leverage it. And it's interesting to see these companies grow up, and you might say, how does this guy successful? You went bankrupt like 3 times, and fortunately I don't think either of us have ever gone bankrupt, but the point is that they're able to learn money building and money managing habits, and even if you fail, you're able to basically do it again and learn from your mistakes. So one of the things that we deal a lot with is financing. I mean, how much does your screen printing presses cost?
Screen press. I always tell people that I've got a bunch of Ferraris in my garage. I just never take them out.
They're painted green.
Yeah,
awesome.
They are green Ferraris.
They go around in circles. They don't make a lot of noise. But I mean, shoot, like what does one of those things cost?
I think a cheap one of the least expensive one we have probably costs $50,000. We have one that costs $120,000.
Yeah. So you're not going to write a check, or come on, write the check, $120K right now.
I'd love to, but you know.
So how are you going to get that? You can use that press, and that press prints like 20, like, what are you guys billing every day? I mean, it's printing.
Yeah, I think our average sales this month are $25,000 a day.
A day. So it's making them $25,000 a day in revenue. It's worth investing in, but if you can't write that check, how are you going to get it?
We're going to have to ask somebody for money.
And so as you're a young business, it's very important to start thinking about that. You might not need that press, you might not need that that loan out of the gate. I know we didn't need any financing for the first 5 years, but without building that credit or planning for the future, when you need it, and you never know when you need it, you know, you're not able to go churn things around and quickly get something that can be a game changer in your business just because you're not in the position for it. So what are some of the things that you can start doing that you did to start putting yourself in a financial position to be able to finance equipment and grow your lines of credit?
We developed a really good relationship with a small bank. Small banks are super important for small business. If you go somewhere like Wells Fargo or some of these bigger banks, a lot of their decisions are made, you know, states away or across the state. You know, if you bank with a small bank, the banker you're sitting in front of is usually the one that makes a decision up to X amount of dollars. And so if you tell him a really good story, if you establish a really good relationship, he trusts you and he trusts your business, he's the one that can say, yeah, I'll give you $50,000 today.
And also, we're a big fan of direct lending. You know, whether it's the finance company or the bank, the same scenario. Like the finance company, if they control the money, if they control the funds, they have a lot more flexibility. Like Ryonet, we have our own fund. And so we get to choose, if somebody's late on their payment, yeah, we can turn their press off, but that's not a win-win. So we always typically end up working with people because we have the control of it. If we sell that paper, if you're not with a direct lending relationship or a small bank, big bank, you're just calling an 800 number, they don't care. They're just, you know, they can't do anything. So having that tight relationship is pretty important. So speaking of that, we actually have one of our vendors here in our booth. They're called Direct Capital. So they do the whole direct funding model. And Chris, one of the things that we run into in this industry is twofold. First of all, it's a fairly low-cost industry to get into. So you have people that are coming from all different walks of life, and they might have had successes or failures previously. It's a easy business to get into, so they don't have a lot of credit history. So whether you have bad credit history or great credit history, what are some of the things, if somebody's just starting, and even if they don't plan on getting equipment right away, that they should be thinking about or doing to build their credit or improve their credit if they don't have the best credit?
So what I'd recommend to all the screen printers out there is basically you want to open up as many credit lines as possible.
Like credit cards?
Credit cards.
You know, leasing like a car or something like that?
Yeah, car not as much because it actually puts more debt on your personal credit, which lowers your FICO score.
Okay, good point.
But like on a credit card, you want to have, go apply with Chase. They give you a 10K limit, and then the toughest part is don't put any debt on it.
So but you want to charge, you can't just never use it though. You have to use it and then pay it down.
Right, it's kind of the 80-20 rule. So 80% available, 20% debt. So if you had a 10K credit card, you want about 2K plus or minus floating on that. What that does is it gives you more available credit, which boosts your FICO score. Now, I don't say go apply to get 7 or 8 credit cards because your inquiries will make your credit go the other way. So what you want to do is every 6 months or once a year is just keep upping the credit lines and then just diversifying your credit so you're not you don't just have one card but you have multiples over the years. It will continue to grow everything that you have.
How long does it take to improve, let's say you miss some payments, to improve late fees, and what are some of the ways to do that?
So one thing, again, it's trying to keep that debt as low as possible, which is easier said than done because everyone's a growing company and it's tough to keep that debt off the personal credit. But biggest thing is just trying to make your payments on time. If you have some stuff that's gone late, time's usually the healing factor for that, and just kind of building that credit up slowly over time.
It's amazing how fast credit can turn. So here's a scenario: you need good credit to apply for lower rates or be able to get a higher loan. Okay, so let's say that I have a used automatic press that's worth 20, 30 grand, and I want to buy a $150,000 automatic press, and my credit's like low 600s. I'm not going to qualify, I'm barely going to qualify, not get good rates, and you have $50,000 out on your credit lines. So what you can do is you actually sell that used press, pay off 70% of those credit lines. Within a month, your credit's going to go back up.
Absolutely.
And now you're going to be able to qualify for that 150 and completely change the pace of your business. So there's a lot of ways to manipulate it, even if you're not in the best position.
Absolutely, it's a great way. Unfortunately, with time, it takes a long time to heal your credit, but you can mess it up really quick in a small time period. So if you continue just working at it slowly and try to stay away from too much credit card debt, especially, and the loans kind of hurt you sometimes as far as taking away from that revolving credit availability.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
I know that one of the things that I started doing after we got a new car loan, and we missed a freaking payment, and it wasn't even our fault. It was so a lot of times people will sell the paperwork, so we sent the payment to the first company, and they never transferred it over to the second company because we were on vacation, we missed the mail, the new address and stuff, and so it literally dinged our credit, and we had perfect credit history. So what I did is I opened up a free credit report, and a lot of times it's free with a Chase card or something like that. And so every time there's a risk on my account, now I get pinged proactively, and I can actively manage my credit and see what's going on.
I had the same thing happen. I bought a new car last year, and I set up my auto payment, and I set it up wrong, and so the first payment didn't go through, and I had to pay it late, and it dinged my credit like 50 points, like crazy.
It sucks. So I mean, you got very, very much keep in mind that credit is very important. It's a powerful thing, but it can also be detrimental. It's not something to take for granted. Use tools out there like a free credit report or some type of credit management system. Always be aware of what your capacity is and you're not spending too much, making sure you're keeping things paid off and not going over. I think there's two trains of thoughts. You can use other people's money to grow your business, or you can use your own money and be debt free. I would say that they're both valid ways of doing business. I think that both of us are not of the latter.
Well, I used my own money to start my business, but at some point I knew that we were growing extremely quickly. And when you grow fast, it's very expensive, and you need help, because how on earth do you buy twice as many t-shirts today than you did yesterday? And you're going to have to reach out and get help and form relationships. Never a bad idea to have a rich friend, right? Sometimes they'll loan you money for free, but you definitely need to have relationships with people that can help you out when you're in a pinch.
Oh, speaking of that, like your vendors, getting terms with your vendors and getting credit lines with your vendors is something that it's called cash conversion cycle. And in quick math, if you're able to receive money in faster than you have to pay money out, you can grow your business as fast as you want, as long as you're not, you're selling more than you have in inventory. It's simple math. So like you go to your vendors, you have terms with most of your vendors, and then a lot of times you pay those terms with PayPal or credit cards that can extend those terms even more.
Right. And that's important too, because you're going to get net 30 clients or clients that will only order from you if you're on net 30. And unfortunately, you have to figure out how to front the cash for all those t-shirts. And what happens even if you're on net 30 with your t-shirt vendors is you buy the shirts a week before they print, and then the customer pays you late. So by the time you have the money to pay your invoice for that net 30 t-shirt, it's been 45 to 60 days. So you have to have some sort of cash flow or slush fund to like take care of that invoice for that amount of time.
Yeah, unless you're extremely rich and have $1 million in the bank, it's going to be impossible to grow your business and or very expensive through bank lines and SBA loans to grow your business. And it's going to cap unless you can re-leverage your cash conversion cycle. So get good terms, try to get deposits or credit card payments up front. Early pay discounts are another way to get more money in the door faster, and then at the same time leverage that and make sure that you're paying vendors on time so they're able to give you longer terms. You're not taking advantage of them. And if you ever get in that situation where you have to pay late or something like that, always communicate. That's the thing about having good personal relationships. There's been times where Brett's like, you might call us up like, hey, that big all-made order, would you be able to like not hit that on my net 30 account like this week, maybe wait till next week? And like, yeah, you could probably do that, And so that's a very, always communicate, never dodge your phone calls. That's bull.
Never try to evade the tax man. I've heard really bad stories about that. Always pay the government first.
All right, well I think it's something to keep in mind. Good notes, lots of tools out there, lots of stuff to go read about too. So it's important. It's a topic that is sometimes tough for some people to talk about, but I think it's an easy one to manage as well.
Absolutely.